Would you believe that we've been blessed with 8 glorious years of Red Dead Redemption 2? It's insane how quick time flies. What's more nuts than this is how even after nearly a decade of cowboy chaos, players are still making crazy discoveries all the time in this game. In this video, I'll be going over all the newest things the community of Red Dead junkies have found in recent months. You're gonna want to be sitting down for this one, amigos. No time to waste, there's a ton of new stuff to cover. Rockstar is a powerhouse when it considers basically any aspect of gaming. Every one of their releases are easily 5 to 10 years ahead of the times. RDR2 still holds up graphically to this very day, and GTA 5 is the single largest entertainment property to be released in history, just to name a few of their accolades. But RDR2 is like their prize child. No other artificially engineered world is as intricately detailed and as masterfully crafted as this, leaving us with the highest expectations for their future games, and even the games from rival studios. A detail I recently learned left me absolutely stunned. Depending on the type of food that you feed Arthur will determine the color of vomit that projects out of his gulper. Say you want to chow down on some canned corn, but then accidentally get a peek up Miss Grimshaw's dress, the color of throw up is going to be yellow. Have some strawberries, then chase it down with a poisonous herb. Taste the rainbow. If you check out this frozen lake in the Grizzlies, you can find a cheat code carved into the ice. But what I'd like to point out instead is how you can see the water move underneath the sheet of ice. I don't know the physics or chemistry or whatever behind this, but I'm not sure if water would really flow like that under a still lake. I'd figure a river or something like that, but maybe I'm wrong. You can let me know in the comments, whoever knows about this kind of stuff. While in the area, you can complete the next part of the Gunslinger side quest. After choosing how to deal with FLACO's men, you can mess around with them a little to uncover hidden reactions. Constantly banging on his door will elicit a reaction out of him.
Who's that? That door ain't coming down. You ain't getting in here.
And if you do not holster your weapon, he will take notice to this, then refuse to come out until you give him a fair advantage.
Put your weapons away. Now come out. You ain't getting in here. Put them away. They ain't coming out of your arm. You want to talk? Holster it.
Also, while on this subject, I don't know how commonly known this is, but this encounter is like the one and only in the game that produces a peaceful outcome for antagonizing someone. Like, what the fuck? Greeting FLACO's gang will result in a gunfight.
Wrong camp, stranger.
You don't want to die for Hernandez, do you? Take me to him. I've got some questions to ask.
Okay, if it's just questions. He's up in the cabin. Watch it, people. Stranger in the camp. He ain't going to be here long. Hey, who's that? You'd be better off freezing than staying here. Off with you.
I don't mean no harm. I just want to speak to Hernandez.
We don't like visitors up here. Kill this fool!
So it just goes to show, sometimes being a dick can save your life, though I really wouldn't recommend that. If there's one thing Rockstar loves, it's hiding images of giant dongs around the map. We've seen it in GTA 5 on Mount Chiliad, and also in Red Dead 2. The first one I was able to find was on the Winder Rock mural, and the second one was found by modders hidden under the ground texture near Butcher's Creek. It's unclear if they're connected, but it's presumed they could be correlated to the disappointing spiderweb mystery, or the spider dream. Check out my last spider dream videos if you don't know about this and want to learn more. It's a fairly new mystery that's been discovered, but so far hasn't been solved yet. Speaking of dongs, our next point brings us to that dong head MICAH Bell. MICAH is full of secrets. Secrets like talking to the feds, surprising us with that Audi beer belly, or in this case, transporting his twin revolvers to GUARMA. Everyone else, including Dutch, are missing their signature firearms and have to resort to using guns they can access on the island. Unlike MICAH, who somehow clung to his guns like a child while being lost at sea. Further proof that he really would do anything for his guns. Pop culture references are the best thing about games from Rockstar. Some of the greatest missions in the studio's collection were heavily inspired by critically acclaimed films. There are more than I can count in Red Dead 2 alone. I've made a few videos so far on the amount of Easter eggs you can find from each movie that influenced its development. One scene I'm frequently reminded of is the barn shootout from The Long Riders, a film ranked in the top 5 best westerns I've personally ever seen. The mission, An Honest Mistake, is loosely based on this part in the movie when the gang is stuck in the barn and escape into the woods through the back wall. There's also similarities in the plot that are noticed, like Dutch's gang being on the run from the law, the same as the James Younger gang. 10 out of 10 film for anyone who's interested in westerns and hasn't seen it yet. If you want to see the hands down single greatest western ever composed, you don't have to look any further than the miniseries adaptation of Larry McMurtry's Lonesome Dove. Incredibly eager to find any relation to the film in Red Dead Redemption 2, I nearly couldn't contain my excitement the day I finally found it. The photo in Arthur's sleeping quarters is almost an exact copy of the one we see in Lonesome Dove, when Gus kindly gives an arrogant bartender a lesson in respect and courtesy. Also, I'd like to say rest in peace to the legendary Robert Duvall, who passed away a few months ago. The list of Duvall's achievements are unsurmountable. His talent and contributions to the film industry will name him as one of Hollywood's greatest actors from the golden age of cinema. Should you decide to keep Lady Margaret's zebra for a little while to show off around town, you can get reactions from observant NPCs.
Hard lines there. Keep that up. I'll get this donkey to kick you. Darn people. It's just a donkey, idiot.
While on the subject of horses, has anyone ever noticed why John's horse, Old Boy, looks so familiar? If you played the Red Dead Redemption 1 Game of the Year edition back in the day, you'll remember how the default mount assigned to the player was the bonus content Warhorse with dark coat and light mane. In Red Dead Redemption 2, Rockstar gave a callback to the original Warhorse through John's new horse he gets at the start of Chapter 2. It sucks that they cut the horse borrowing feature. I always wish that we could take some of the gang's horses out for our little spin.
Tell Dutch I'm taking his horse. I'm taking the Count. I'm taking Bill's horse. I'm taking Brown Jack for a ride. I'm taking Javier's horse. Tell Javier I've taken Boaz. Tell Marston I got his horse. I'm taking old boy out for a ride. Tell Sadie I got a horse. I'm taking Bob. Tell Sadie. Tell Charles I've taken his horse. I'm taking Taima. Tell Charles. I'm taking Lenny's horse.
But we were forced to resort to glitches and exploits in order to have the simplest things in this game. Valentine was the new armadillo for Red Dead 2. It's a fan favorite town that's created lasting memories across every square inch of its muddy streets. The focal point of the town would be the church that sits at the end of the main street. Something I never realized was the storm survivor plaque outside the church's door. What storm is it referring to? I think this particular Easter egg is referencing the Great Hurricane of 1900 that devastated the Texas coastal region and destroyed Galveston. Growing up in Houston, I'd travel to Galveston with my family for day trips to the beach and would remember noticing the plaques outside certain buildings indicating they were survivors of the 1900 storm. Exactly the same way the one in Red Dead 2 is seen. I could be wrong, but I'd be willing to bet the Galveston storm of 1900 is what influenced this, since we aren't given any other info about it. St. Joseph's Catholic Church is the main source of inspiration for the Valentine Church. Its wood frame structure, similar to Valentine's Church, miraculously survived the catastrophic winds and surging waves, only suffering minor damages. However, Valentine isn't a seaside settlement, so it's up for debate. It's no secret Arthur and John didn't receive a formal education. All their academic skills are what they were taught by their mentor Dutch, which goes without saying it wasn't much. They might have developed a decent vocabulary, but sometimes you might notice the occasional slip-ups grammatically between both guys. Their lack of cultural knowledge is evident by the way they spell foreign names. After meeting the mayor of Saint-Denis and his assistant, Arthur misspells John Mark's name as John Mark. However, afterwards Arthur becomes aware of this mistake and basically calls himself a dumbass. Once you've committed horrifying acts of violence or engage enemies with deadly force, investigators will arrive sometime later to inspect the area and will eventually clean up crime scenes. This one is such an incredible detail. The entire bounty system is so intricately designed. Having a relatively low bounty will result in the posse that follows you to use less than lethal force to bring you in.
Look, mister, come in peaceable and I don't got to kill you. Keep them hands up.
Okay, throw me in jail.
Dead or alive, you're as good as mine.
Ain't happening.
Conversely, if your bounty exceeds a certain threshold, they will use excessive force and will actively attempt to stop your lungs from drawing breath.
Enough, kill this asshole. Drop him.
Also, the higher your bounty, the higher the rank of law enforcement that will track you down. Your position also dictates the type of posse. Being close to town or within town limits will generate local level responses, and out in the frontier will cause bounty hunters. If you're an especially dangerous case, US Marshals will hunt you down. Unlike regular bounty hunters, Marshals represent a significantly more intense specialized pursuit designated to stop high-level outlaws. Another hidden detail regarding bounty hunters is how hyper-realistically the protagonist reacts to an approaching posse. Their proximity to the player will activate a stealth mode, subsequently prompting them to whisper commands to their horse.
Hey, come on. Hey, here. Hey, follow me. Hey, come on.
The situational awareness displayed by Arthur or John demonstrates just how far artificial intelligence has come in modern times. Enjoying a peaceful day on the water can be therapeutic. The calm stillness on the surface, the tranquil scenery, and the graceful swaying of the trees induce sensations of pure bliss. Unless you're fishing in contaminated waters, then prepare yourself for some freakish abominations of nature. Known areas to avoid are the polluted shores of Butcher's Creek and Annisburg. Additionally, there's one more location that's full of infected fish, and that's right here in the heart of Saint-Denis. The small pond in the park that we find the Tesla wannabe at is where you'll find them. I only just recently found this out and included it in a video along with every other angling secret I could find while playing Red Dead 2. Check the description out if you want to see that video. You might think that the Tennessee Walker assigned to the player at the beginning of the game belonged to Sadie, seeing as we retrieved it out of her barn. But in fact, it does not belong to her. Apparently, this beautiful creature was stalled there by one of the O'Driscolls that took over her home.
Ma'am, that horse we took from your barn, obviously we'll give that back.
That was one of theirs. Kill the damn thing for all I care.
I don't know about anyone else, but this is my favorite out of all the horses you can find on the map. It's the only one of its kind and is reliable, sturdy, quick, and simply beautiful. Such a shame hardly anyone ever keeps him. The Braithwaite family is full of secrets. Secret tales, secret daughters, and secret gold. Inside the manor are hidden collectibles and references. The interior seems to be influenced by the historical home of Andrew Jackson, known as the Hermitage. A gold shield with the Braithwaite's family crest can be looted from the mantelpiece in the first room to the left. A letter to Angelo Bronte can also be found in the same room. There's a carving on a large tree near the stables that's a clue to a treasure hunt. And an outhouse near the peasant village is where Catherine locks her disfigured daughter away. And under the mansion's floorboards is a single bar of gold that can be looted from a lockbox. But what I never found until much later was a family photograph hidden underneath the staircase. It appears to show Catherine with her sons and her daughter. Makes me wonder, why did she imprison her in the shitter? For a game about seeking redemption, it's obvious to make exceptional effort to help others in their time of need. Rescuing a damsel in distress, offering money to the less fortunate, or greeting everyone within sight are common ways to give yourself an honor boost. However, sometimes being a nice guy can come back to bite you in the ass. A perfect scenario to illustrate this is when a stranded traveler requests a ride back into town. And no, I'm not talking about this dweeb. I'm talking about these types of dudes. And ladies. Staying atop the horse will trigger the bandit to throw you from the saddle. A high bond level will also allow you to whistle back your trusty steed or mare, consequently bucking that jabroni ass to the ground. Dismounting will reveal an alternate scene where the horse thief will rob you instead of taking your horse.
Raise up them hands and think of heaven.
Fine. Fine. No one make any dumb moves.
You know, I really wanted a horse.
Now let's reverse the roles. Arthur borrows a random pedestrian's horse to chase Jimmy Brooks. That's in one of the opening missions to Chapter 2. A pop-up message will encourage you to return the man's horse, which will lead you to this interaction.
Hey! My horse!
Am I glad to see you?
Here's your horse back, friend.
Oh, you really were just borrowing it.
Appreciate it.
If you choose to be a dick and return empty-handed, the man will scold you for taking his horse.
Hey, you! Where's my horse? You said you were borrowing it.
It'll find its way back.
You bastard!
I'm sorry, friend. Your horse didn't make it.
What? No! That cost me a fortune.
Just wanted you to know.
I don't even know what to say.
Red Dead Redemption 2 is full of genuine what in the almighty moments from start to finish. Nudists, ghosts, incestuous relationships, all the way up to man-made mutants. Arguably Rockstar's weirdest game ever. I mean, what other game are you gonna find a guy stuck on the John for 8 years straight?
Well, get the hell out of here, will you?
Sorry. Wrong room.
The bloke attached to the Dunny suffers from chronic constipation and digestive issues from indulging in a church potluck. We learn through a newspaper article in the epilogue that the man's name is Mr. Harville Presley. The familiarity about this whole shit show is the correlation to the king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley. This was a satirical reference to Elvis's embarrassing death. On the afternoon of August 16, 1977, Elvis was found deceased on the floor of his mansion in Memphis, where it was determined he suffered a heart attack while struggling to split a log. According to the autopsy report, Elvis's colon was so backed up from the abuse of narcotics, he hadn't defecated likely in months. An underwhelming end to an absolutely legendary life. There's only two kinds of people in the world. You're either a Beatles fan or an Elvis fan. And although I do love the Beatles, I am 1000% an Elvis guy. He was just the motherfucking man, dude.
Hey, Joe, I did check last night, gave great as hell.
That being said, I still thought this Easter egg was pretty hilarious. Let me know in the comments, are you a Beatles or Elvis fan? A fantastic mechanic in the combat system are the finishing maneuvers and special execution animations. This was improved from Red Dead Redemption 1 system. The motions are a lot more fluid, making fighting look seamless compared to the first game. These unique playstyles were extended to interactions with animals like wolves. If you're equipped with any weapon while under attack by a pack of wolves, you can press the punch or strike button to stun the wolf with a swift kick, then quickly follow it up with a shot to the head or a curb stomp if you're unarmed. Arthur and John's relationship is a bipolar one. The love-hate dynamic continues all throughout the gang's final journey, providing us with some of the best, saddest, and funniest moments. Their excellent chemistry is unmatched. You really believe as if these two fictional characters have really known each other for 15 years or more. They also take any moment they can to poke fun at each other's shortcomings. In Chapter 3, the gang migrates to the southern regions of the map, closer to the shoreline. It's no secret John can't swim, so Arthur uses this as an opportunity to take a jab at John's swimming skills.
You must be nervous, being this close to the water. Why don't we up the ante here? Lose your ass to strip and jump in the water. Oh, wait. Marston can't swim.
John gets his comeback when he and Charles are repairing a broken wagon wheel.
Yep. Arthur breaks him. We fix him. That seems to be the way. Hello.
This was a callback to the intro of Chapter 2, where Arthur breaks the wagon wheel crossing the Cumberland Falls. The trails of Red Dead 2 are packed with random encounters, more than any other game on the market to date. My favorite of these random encounters are the camper stories. If you're lucky enough to come across a friendly campsite where the occupants invite you in rather than attempt to blow your face off,
You makes my break hard.
you can learn new information about current events, lore, mysteries, treasures, and even legendary animals. And while aimlessly meandering one afternoon, I found this camper I'd never seen before, who will talk about the legendary panther that stalks the woodland northwest of Saint-Denis.
I don't take usually kindly to company, but you can stay.
Thanks.
Been doing some hunting, I see. Rare game's more my thing these days. Any fool can take down a deer or a rabbit, even a bear. I once killed 30 bears in 1 year. And buffalo, I can't even count that high. Yep, God's honest truth. Folk near Saint-Denis tell stories of a panther that roams the swamps out there. Fast, ferocious, real elusive. Bit of a legend in those parts. Never been caught. And I figure if anyone's gonna do it, it's gonna be me. And a pelt like that could keep a feller warm in whiskey for months. But that's a story for another day. Hold on now. I swear I seen your face before.
Just have one of those faces.
God darn it, no.
RDR2 deals very much with the occult, evident by the satanic ritual sites, black magic, witches, vampires, cryptids, and much more that delve into the horror element of Rockstar titles. A confusingly bizarre occurrence are when these strange campsites spawn on the roads and trails, with no explanation as to why there's so many unusual objects laying about, like these slabs of meat and this giant freaking snake. I have nothing to go on, so if anyone knows what in the hell this is, or at least what the point of these weird campsites are, please enlighten me in the comments, cause I have no freaking idea what's going on here. Dutch was an Evelyn Miller fanboy. His ideologies influenced much of Dutch's outlook on life, but was twisted into something darker to fit his own agenda. Frequently seen studying and referencing his works, it's no wonder most of what Evelyn Miller says sounds like it came straight from Dutch's dishonest lips. In the epilogue, while doing his routine checkups on Mr. Miller, John offers to bring him food to sustain himself while he works on his new book, depriving his body's basic needs to survive. The words he says to John from inside his cabin are nearly the exact same from Dutch's final monologue in Red Dead 1.
I can't fight my own nature. None of us can.
We can't always fight nature, John. We can fight change. Can't fight gravity. We can't fight nothing. My whole life, all I ever did was fight.
Then give up, Dutch.
But I can't give up, neither. I can't fight my own nature. That's a paradox, John.
Due to his stubbornness, Evelyn Miller succumbs to starvation. In his final will and testament, all he wishes for upon his imminent death was to be cremated, allowing for his ashes to blow away with the wind like a soaring eagle. After obliging his request, John returns to the destroyed cabin to find an unbelievable surprise. The perimeter of Tanner's Reach is crowded with eagles, symbolically illustrating his spirit flying free with the eagles in the sky. A poetic way to go out for a truly poetic man. I almost forgot that I wanted to mention the Sasquatch reference from Undead Nightmare. In earlier missions with Mr. Miller, he guides John to an injured elk snagged in a trap. On the way there, John admits that he's not easily surprised, unless he was on his way to go see Bigfoot.
Unless you're showing me Bigfoot, you should know. I'm not so easily shocked, Mr. Miller.
This was literally a callback to the Undead Nightmare side quest that takes place in this very cabin, where John is tasked with the extermination of an entire Sasquatch species. New players on the scene will be shocked by the amount of giant Easter eggs scattered around the mountains, hills, and valleys. Whether in the form of remains, fossils, or casually carrying a conversation with one in a cave. The race of giants isn't secluded to only humankind. There's plenty of giant creatures you can discover as well, other than the legendary animals. Uncommon, oversized beasts you can come across are certain breeds of horses, fish, and apparently cows. During a hidden Beecher's Hope encounter in the late epilogue, Jack will be approached by John while he's milking his favorite cow in the barn. Jack admits that he loathes the very thought of potentially euthanizing this animal for their own needs, since he's grown a particular bond with this cow. What makes this cow so special is its unusually large frame. Just look at it compared to other cows. This monster could feed the entire town of Blackwater. You know, put a skirt on it and it sorta looks like yo mama. Right around the same time in-game, you might find Abigail entering Jack's room to say goodnight. When she asks him to recite a passage from the Bible, she remembered that Reverend Swanson used to read them in the old days.
Will you read me that passage that Reverend Swanson used to read? You remember that?
Well, not really, Mama.
Nor do I. It was so pretty. It was in Isaiah, I think.
Okay. Here's a beautiful passage. He is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief. And we hid, as it were, our faces from him. He was despised, and we esteemed him not. Surely he hath borne our griefs and carried our sorrows. Yet we did esteem him stricken, smitten of God, and afflicted. But he was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him, and with his stripes we are healed. All we, like sheep, have gone astray. We have turned every one to his own way, and the Lord hath laid on him the iniquity of us all.
That is beautiful. But it's not the same. The Reverend spoke about eagles.
Well, I don't know much about eagles. Good night, Mama.
Good night, son.
The passage she refers to is from the book of Isaiah, focusing on the sufferings laid on Christ for the salvation of mankind. This scene serves as a flashback to the prologue when Reverend rehearses that very excerpt from Isaiah to raise the camp's morale.
But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint.
Extraterrestrial sightings are a vintage Rockstar hallmark. They appear in almost every one of their games in some form or another, and Red Dead 2 has the most of them all. It's unclear if they're all connected, however. Different clues are found in different locations, some obvious and some obscure. The most esoteric signs are in the form of these rock paintings found on boulders in the Big Valley territory. What they mean could be left to interpretation. Following extensive research, it's concluded that they may have multiple meanings. One is the Native American legend of the ant people that came from the stars to help the Hopi tribe from various disasters. There are peculiar rock arts that have been documented which are strikingly alike the ones found in the game. Another interpretation could be the recurring UFO theme popular in Red Dead 2's world, although I'm not quite sure in what capacity. More than likely in relation to the Mount Shan aliens. What do you guys think they could symbolize? Is it in regard to the Hopi folklore, or is it a confrontation with the UFOs? Playing Red Dead Redemption 2 is like stepping through a time portal back to real-life America in 1899. With time-accurate industry, fashion, technology, vocabulary, and history. A super cool technological advancement included in Red Dead 2 was innovated fairly recently before the time Red Dead 2 takes place. Ladies and gentlemen, I give to you the Steam Donkey. Invented by John Dolbear in the year 1881, the Steam Donkey, or some may know it as the Steam Mule, Donkey Engine, Mechanical Mule, and basically any other innuendo you can imagine, were large yet simple to operate steam-powered engines that could be used to perform any number of basic heavy-duty tasks. There's a steam engine we can use to bust MICAH out of jail, which I'll go over in just a short bit. And there's one being used for logging by the Appleseed Timber Company. However, by the turn of the century, steam donkeys were considered obsolete, superseded by faster and far more mobile diesel-powered engines. What you see in Red Dead 2 are the last of their usage in America before being replaced in the next few years. Continuing the subject of vintage inventions we see in Red Dead 2, a really neat contraption I recently found while attempting to solve that dumbass spiderweb mystery was this old-school mousetrap. This particular design dates back all the way to the 1500s. Essentially how it works is the wire is meant to be lowered down into the openings, while the mouse pokes his head through, triggering a switch that pulls up, giving him the Colm O'Driscoll treatment. Something else the hopeless search of the Spider Dream helped me notice was the piss pan underneath the killer's snake wrangler's bed. I'm not sure what the words Gully and Motts mean. It could be who owns it? Maybe it could be a small Easter egg or a reference to somebody that worked on Red Dead Redemption 2, similar to the initials in the outhouse at Butcher's Creek. Whatever the case may be, I just thought it was weird that they included a singular antique chamber pot for apparently no reason. The Kauffman Farms dairy brand appears to be an old-style milk delivery wagon. You can find them all over the eastern side of Red Dead 2's map. What's interesting about a stupid milk wagon is that the company buys its milk from Hillhaven Ranch. You'll sometimes see drivers loading up with a couple of batches of milk, then taking off to do their daily routes. Also, I think it's worth mentioning the missable detail that the cattle at Hillhaven Ranch are wearing the Braithwaite's brand. I don't know if this means old Squeers stole the cows from the Braithwaites, or if it was a legitimate purchase. Most likely he paid for them. Nobody was dumb enough to mess with those crazy white people except Dutch. Like the milk from Kauffman Farms, an additional commodity produced locally are the apples and oranges you can purchase in store. The LEMOYNE apple brand appears to be exported from HAGEN orchards in the swamps of Bayou NWA. I love all the little orange trees here. The name HAGEN Orchards also seems to be a tribute to Landon Ricketts' voice actor Ross Hagen, who passed away a short time after the release of the first Red Dead Redemption. And of course Mount Hagen, as we all know, is another location dedicated to the memory of Ross Hagen. There's an unholy amount of alternate dialogues, scenes, outcomes, and many more. So much that it's impossible to see or hear all of them in one playthrough. A missable dialogue some players might not hear is during the LINDSEY WOFFORD contract. Initiating the mission during or after Chapter 4 will result in Arthur roasting Mr. Wofford on the way to jail.
Hey, Woff. Don't like talking to you folk normally, but you're a Lemoyne raider, right? So I thought I'd say, I'm bunking at your old place at the moment. Shady Belle?
You the fellers that took the bell? You murdering animals! You savage Yankee bastards! You'll get your comeuppance, all right?
You know, I ain't sure that we will.
Not so long ago, I was conducting an experiment about the women of Red Dead 2. A series of observations on behavior patterns and reactions to confrontation. And I think I finally reached a conclusion. Southern women geographically are tougher and braver than Northerners.
Don't talk to me.
Why you gotta go and be all mean?
Hey, shut it.
Who do you think you are?
I tell you, life ain't easy.
Yep, same here.
But at least I ain't you.
You need to leave me be.
I'm surprised you move on two legs.
I'm just gonna go, all right? I'm leaving.
Well, except for that lady who thought that we were a peeping Tom, which we kinda were. Certain women are just programmed to react surprisingly aggressive either way, but I've noticed it's a lot more common in the game's southern boundaries. North of Moonstone Pond is a face carved into the side of a mountain, akin to the ones in South Dakota. Upon investigating the sculpture, you'll discover a chest to loot, various tools, and a man that appears to have offed himself. Looting him reveals a letter that gives a little background to what happened here. And I'll tell you, this left me stunned the first time I read it. It instantly clicked for me as to who was to blame for this tragedy. That horny little goat, Charles Chatternay. Allegedly, Charles boinked the man's woman while he was sculpting the face of his lover in the mountain. When he found out what happened, well, you can see what happened next. That is never the answer, folks. He should have just taken it as a blessing that he saw that hoe for who she really was, but then again, love makes you do ridiculous things sometimes. An odd phenomena that happens is the face will become destroyed a bit later in the game's progression. Save your game, then exit out fully, reload your save file, and head back up the scaffolding to find the sculpture partially vandalized. No other information is given as to why the mountain becomes defaced. Maybe it was a removed continuation to this mystery. Let me know in the comments what you think the reason for this was, or if you have any insights at all. Going back to bounty targets real quick, I wanted to talk about Mark Johnson before I forget. His predicament nearly parallels John's tale from Red Dead Redemption 1. Not only that, but even his name and initials closely resemble John's. Mark Johnson, John Marston, MJ, JM, you get it. Various other aspects to his character seem to be a play on John Marston. His retirement from a life of crime, but remaining a wanted man mirrors John's situation. This thesis is verified by the dialogue of the sheriff during Johnson's execution, stating that he thought he could just leave his outlaw past behind.
Mark Johnson, a murderer, a brutal and fearsome criminal his entire life.
Go straight to
A
hell!
man who thought he could just leave his outlaw past behind and become a rancher and family man. Well, the law don't work that way, Mr. Johnson. A changed man does not change the crimes he committed. We are what we've done. You can't outrun your blood.
Besides the similarities with John, there are numerous hidden secrets you can uncover in just this short bounty hunting mission. Say you're feeling particularly ghoulish, you can deny Mark the opportunity to say a final goodbye to his family before being taken in. There is a hidden upside to acting like a donghead. It can actually save your life. Allowing him to say goodbye will yield an ambush from some goons riding with him. The most dastardly thing you can commit in this bounty side quest is nerfing his poor wife.
Sweet girl, she didn't do nothing to you. Let me out of these, you'll answer for that. You'll answer. You're a killer. A no-good killer. I might have done things, but I changed. You're evil, mister. You're gonna answer for this. What you did to her, it's gonna catch up with you. You'll pay. You'll pay. It'll come around, mister, and it'll fight you. Horse fucker!
Like the poor boy said, you killed his wife. We aren't gonna let you take him too.
No more games, all right? I think that's all your friends, ain't it? You shouldn't have done that. And now look what's happened. Dead because of you.
He murdered my woman. He's the one you should arrest.
Surely it's about news time for you.
You made a wife a widow and a boy fatherless, you son of a bitch. And you coming in here to gloat about it? Let me have some peace in my last hours on Earth.
Bounty's a bounty, mister. Don't take it so personal.
He naturally will become outraged, and his son will instantly become an orphan by your hands. If you're lucky enough to catch his public execution on time, you can choose to witness his hanging or save him.
Good God.
Christ!
Nice job, Sheriff.
Can't run from what you done. Evil is just bred in some people.
Law don't forget now, does it?
He said it!
People don't forget. Nothing gets forgiven.
So far, this is my favorite detail ever spotted by somebody in Red Dead 2. In Kyle Kringle's Pearson video from a few months ago, he spoke about how Pearson's character was likely influenced by the disciple of Christ, Simon Peter. Aside from having similar names, they are very much alike. If you haven't seen his video yet, I'll leave a link in the description. Pearson's first name is Simon Pearson, which can be split into Pearson, coming from Pierre, which is Pierre. Pierre translates to Peter, the very name Christ assigned to Simon, meaning rock, symbolizing Peter's stability on which the church was to be built off of. Pearson shares an analogous role for Dutch's gang by routinely choring away with daily tasks that make the camp function, acting as the foundational anchor that keeps the camps from drifting away into anarchy. There's of course a lot more comparable aspects I could diverge into, but I feel that would be taking too much away from Kyle's video. I strongly suggest watching his if you have time to see all the connections made between Peter and Pearson. I plan on making a video sometime in the near future detailing all of the biblical themes utilized to create and influence Red Dead 2's plot. However, that's quite an ambitious project and will take some time to complete. On to what is probably the best encounter of the Gunslinger side quests: the duel with Billy Midnight. There's way more to this than you might think. The background of Billy Midnight seems to be based on the historical figure Robert Ford, who famously shot and killed notorious outlaw Jesse James. According to the information written on the back of Midnight's photo, his real name is actually Wilhelm Schnell. As a youngster, he was involved with renowned gunslinger Rabbit Matthews, the Red Dead universe's version of Jesse James. Wilhelm worked as a rifle cleaner and a barn boy for Rabbit. He would later become an overnight sensation for the murder of his gang leader, performing reenactments of the scene all over the country. His fame and notoriety would soon be tarnished pending his imminent exposure. The real way in which he ended Rabbit Matthews' life was by shooting him in his sleep. Midnight's legacy from then on was blemished from the stain of cowardice, often receiving death threats and assassination attempts, the reason for his jitteriness when approached by the player. The pressure of guilt combined with being publicly disgraced was too much for this bloke to handle, even if you do decide to let him live. In real life, Robert Ford shot Jesse James in the back of the head while he was adjusting a picture frame on the wall. He would then go on to use his newly acquired fame to sell the murder through reenactments, just as we see with Midnight's story in Red Dead Redemption 2. He was assassinated in his very own saloon on June 8, 1892 by the hands of Edward O'Kelly. He apparently walked in, greeted Ford, then proceeded to blow his neck off with a double barrel as he turned to see who it was. First, a bit of backstory information on the cut section that was initially planned here. Billy Midnight's real name, Wilhelm Schnell, suggests he is of German descent. His last name translates to fast, which could be an indirect reference to his Mauser pistol or dueling capabilities. If that wasn't already coincidental enough for you, it could also explain why Rockstar chose his personal sidearm to be a Mauser pistol. Schnell could also be taken from the model for a Mauser called the Schnellführer, further indicating his German ancestry. The mining town of Annesburg is also heavily inspired by German culture, and is where Billy Midnight was intended to own a saloon named, and I hope I don't butcher this, Mitternachtsbierhall, or Midnight's Beer Hall, where we would later meet and duel him. Instead, it was switched for the train car chase scene. Though the mission was cut from the final game, the saloon still remains. For the conclusion of this shitpost, I'm gonna show you Red Dead Freaky Deakies, all secret methods you can choose from to rescue Micah out of jail, the most universally dreaded mission in Red Dead Redemption 2. There's the obvious choices like using the nearby Steam Donkey engine or the classic outlaw technique, Dynamite. The Steam Donkey is typically the most common approach, especially for new or unprepared players. The more unhinged players will blow up the wall from the outside if you're equipped with explosives. Now on to the hidden options implemented for the most curious players. If you want to go with the dynamite route again, you can plant a stick on the cell door from the inside and free Micah that way. The final way Rockstar offered to get Micah out was by politely asking the sheriff to release him. Once your request is denied, everyone in the sheriff's office mysteriously stops breathing. Take this chance to loot the jail keys, then let Micah out.
Let's get out of here, come on. What the hell are you doing?
He wasn't O'Driscoll. Arthur, you got the keys?
No.
Check their pockets upstairs. Come on. Hurry.
Might want to step back a bit.
Thank you, friend. Give me a gun. Hey, you! Bye now.
The hell'd you do that for?
I'll tell you later.
Come on! The hell is wrong with you?
Hurry, Arthur! Get me out of here! Thank you, friend. Now give me a gun. Hey, you! Bye now!
Why the hell you do that?
I'll tell you later.
Come on! The hell is wrong with you?
There you have it, all 5 ways to bust Micah out the clink. And if you did make it this far into the video, give yourself a pat on the back, because you've officially reached the end. Thanks everyone for watching. If you did enjoy this video, remember to leave a like, it helps tremendously. Let me know what you thought of this upload in the comments, or if you have any suggestions for a future video you'd like to see here on the channel. Share it with your friends who need their fix for their Red Dead addiction. And lastly, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and tap notifications so you can be alerted each time I upload Red Dead content like this and mash. Adios, homies.